Multiple wives is not biblical. That's not in the Bible. That's, anyway, let me just say this one more, cause I can't believe my ears. I said maybe something's wrong with me. Maybe something's wrong with my ears. I don't know.
No. We're Israelites.
Oh! Y'all believe in having multiple wives and stuff? No.
Watch it. Because multiple wives, that's not biblical.
Multiple. You heard what he said. So he's not gonna make it. Multiple wives is not.
Hey, Shalom. Shalom. First and foremost, want to give our honor and glory to Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahawashi, Bahashim, Rakakwadash, and double honors unto the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom to the hopeful elect. Lord, when this lesson be edifying to you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native American Indians who consist of the 12 tribes of Israel. All right, your fellow servant Yahawah. Lord willing is back with another Lord willing edifying lesson. Salaki. A little tongue twister. Okay, man, but you see what you got, man, you know. And it's very sad because, you know, these are doctrines of devils. Okay? And they mouths must be stopped. Because when you say, you know, we can't have multiple wives, okay? When you say we can't have, well, if you say we can't have multiple wives, you're pretty much throwing out the concubines already, you know? By saying you can only have one wife, and that wife, you know, IURC teaches that woman must be Israelite woman, okay? And that it's only one you can have, you know? And that's why, you know, the apostles, you know, and the brothers on, and, you know, elders and then the brothers on down, they constantly stay rebuking, man, and people get sour about the rebuke, but it is needed in this time, okay? Because you got so many things going on, man. You got sellouts, you got agents, and then you just got pure false prophets, man. Which they are the false prophets if they prophesying. If they speaking, you know, if they speaking according to the word, but going off, they're false prophets. Now you got these guys that, you know, just don't have the spirit, okay? And it's easy for you to go search out the matter, man. And that's why, you know, Apostle Hart constantly goes into, you know, the Church of Berea, okay, fact checking what the Apostle Paul was teaching. Okay, because there's nothing to go into the scriptures and find these instances where King David, and you know, King Solomon and King David are great examples, but a person might be like, oh, they always do that. He's the king. They the king. They're supposed to have multiple wives, man. Okay, but you kill him with, you know, Jacob. Okay, you kill him with Jacob. You know. You kill him with Abraham, you know, and Ishmael, you know, Ishmael still, you know, to this day, they have multiple wives, man. You know, it ain't just through the Israelite bloodline that multiple wives was a thing. No, other nations and their people had multiple wives too, man. You know, well, I'm going to say, you know, I know Ishmael, Shalaki. I'm gonna say Ishmael, okay? But that was a thing of old. That was a thing of old. That was normal, okay? And it's still normal. You Jakes don't make it normal, man. Okay? You Jakes don't make it normal, man. You Jakes fucking botch everything, man. Okay? Bishop Nate. You know, you got the sheep going astray, man. You causing them to fall in the ditch. You know, you call them to fall. That's why I said blind leads the blind, and they both shall fall in the ditch. You can easily go seek out the answers, man. The scriptures, okay? The scriptures, all right? Why would it be a scripture that's in the law that says that the man, and I'm roughly paraphrasing these scriptures, roughly paraphrasing. Why would it say if a man be uncomely towards his first wife? You know, why would these things be mentioned? Why would it be mentioned when you go to take over the spoils of another nation? Roughly paraphrasing. Okay, when you go to take over the nations, and you put the men down, and you got the women. Well, you put the older women down too, and you got the young women. Okay, why does it say let them mourn for a little bit? You think Jake done traveled that far and didn't have a wife at home? No, men are on the battlefield that got families at home, and we're bringing back concubines righteously. Okay, they were bringing back concubines righteously. But I'm just only say that to say, why are these scriptures in the Bible? Okay, why are they written there? Okay, for your learning, bro. They're written for you to get understanding, and that's why. Oh man, it brings it back to the one lesson upon all this. You know, with all that get understanding. Because you motherfuckers, you know, you just read the book. You know, you getting wisdom in some increments. You know, but you're not getting understanding, man. You read right through the scriptures. You read about through the concubines. You read right through that, and just think, oh, we only had one wife. No, you don't put two and two together, and that's wrong with Jake, man. You know, Jake is smitten with madness. Jake is gone in the head, man. Jake is a mental health case. Okay, if not all, you know, outside of the truth, and I'm talking about the GMS doctrine, outside of GMS doctrine. You know, you Jakes are bugged out. Okay? And this is why, you know, this is why you have to have the men on the right-hand side to stand for the gospel. Stand at the defense of the gospel. If not, this should be all type of fucked up. The Lord's ministry will be, you know, all types of messed up. You know, it'll just be running rampant, and we don't want that to happen, man. That's why, you know, that's why we acknowledge our offense, because we don't want him to hide his face from us again. But you Jakes have not acknowledged your offense. You taking bags, you know, you taking a bag, and you just plainly selling out, man. Now this is unbelievable, man. You're unbelievable. This is very unbelievable, man. This is crazy. You know, this is your chance to tell the black woman straight up. Yeah, we are princes of the power, man. We are. It says you are gods, but you shall die like men. You think God have one? You think gods have one wife? With that, you know, gods in power. You think we have only one wife? You know, and what Bishop Nate is doing, he's stripping from piece by piece, stripping from the inheritance. You know, stripping from the inheritance piece by piece. That's a part of the inheritance. Listen, man, when our enemy, it tells you in Ecclesiastes, the three things that's great, happy to see is that a man that, roughly paraphrasing, and if you can post these scriptures down a lesson that I'm hitting, Lord willing, in the comment section. But it says, a man that lived to see his enemy fall, I believe. Okay. When we say, man, we're gonna take our concubines, man. Those are our enemies too. You don't think hey, you got women that are enemies and you got men that are enemies. Okay? Ain't nothing like getting back at the enemy, you know, by laying her through the law, letting her, you know, mourn the death of her mother, her family, her father, let her mourn it. But after that, and pull her head, right? And there's other things, go read the scripture in the law and get understanding, you know. But all of that, you know, after that's done, after she pulled, you know, all that, you know, that's it. She got to give it up. You know, hot pocket. She got to give it up. You know, but these scriptures are written for our learning, man. Okay, seek out the old ways. Seek out the old paths. Rehearse the righteous acts. Okay, it's a righteous thing that a man's seed continues through multiple women that are his women. I'm talking about that belong to him, and he's not committing adultery. You know, Jake got one wife. How you gonna be multiple? Man, the girl, she gotta go through a 9-month prison sentence. No, I was gonna say prison because the Lord be putting them through hell. But she gotta go through a 9-month, you know, a baking process. You know. So how the hell, you know, come on, man. And then after that, if it's a girl child, you gotta wait. You know, according to the law, you gotta wait them time, man. The 80 or the 60s, Salakia. You know? Jake is not there in the head, okay? And jumping back on that note, I gotta do a lesson on that. Little by little, they are stripping from the inheritance, okay? And let's get back serious. They're stripping from the inheritance. And that's a serious thing, man. Because you might as well just, you stripping the inheritance, speaking as a, you might as well just leave us over here, man. We can't have multiple wives in the kingdom. You know? The Gentiles, different group, but Gentiles can be saved. We might as well stay over here. What the fuck? We supposed to, we supposed to be empowered, man. We gonna be empowered, man. You guys, stripping from the inheritance, man. And I gotta do a lesson on that, man. So with that, hey, Lord willing is edifying. This is in transit. Okay, Lord willing is edifying, but Jake don't be getting understanding when they learning the scriptures, man. Jake goes straight for the deep. Can break down the Jake goes straight for the deep, man. Come on now, man. But skip over the milk. The milk, man. You're supposed to know you as an Israelite man can have multiple wives, man. That's first quarter. Now we don't go do it on the side because Apostle Paul said, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. Because these women in these times are fucking demons. Okay, and they give you straight hell. They demon. But that's pretty much it, man. So with that, I'm gonna say Shalom. Call all Yahawashi, 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 double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to the hopeful elect.